What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another week. This week, a very simple assignment, design journal. You should all know what to do for that. In case you forgot, I listed a couple questions that you could answer. Most of you have done this. All of you should have done this assignment before. And those of you that completed it did it correctly. So whether or not you answer these exact questions, I have confidence that you will do it correctly. But if you need a little more guidance, just look towards these questions for that guidance, okay? This is due Monday, being that it's a pretty simple assignment, just a design journal, right? I'm not asking you to take any physical pictures. And then I did come up with the next project idea. I'm not going to talk about that right now. However, next week it will be back to taking some pictures. Actually, we may or may not take pictures. I think I'll have you take a couple, but we will be looking at a project done by a photographer, okay, and doing something in the vein that he created it. Got some links right here. You all should already know these websites, but here they are in case you have forgot. Also in this video, I'm going to critique your work. The final framed photos, if you handed in those tree photos, I did look at them, but I'm not going to critique them. Remember, that's kind of just a snap and shoot. And we are not doing those tree photos anymore. All right? Me, being the tree connoisseur, I guess, picked a tree that is already done blooming. So I'm not going to ask you to continue to do the project when I no longer can myself. So we're just going to stop that, and we'll just do focus on projects rather than these kind of weekly handing in the same kind of picture. I wanted to go over real quickly handing in work. Most of you are doing it A-okay. I'm fine with looking at Google Docs too, but I think it benefits you more if I'm able to bring it up in Photoshop and kind of draw on it to give you a better visual of what I'm thinking. So this is a Google Classroom that I'm a student in. Okay, this was a professional development that I took. So you will see all the assignments posted on the mainstream. If you click on that assignment, you can go right here. Right? This is where you upload everything. Right here. Don't worry about this. This is, obviously you can read the directions and stuff. But to upload photos, add a create, go to File, select files from your device, and then you'll be able to bring up your work and bring up your photos. As you can see, I saved your photos to my desktop, which I'll be bringing up in Photoshop. And you'll just press open and then upload. And you would do that for as many photos as you wish to upload, okay? So it's very simple. That's how you upload your JPEGs. And again, I'd rather you upload JPEGs than put them in a Google Doc and upload the Google Doc, because I can't take the photos from the Google Doc and then critique them, okay? So jumping into the critique, I believe Lillian did not submit the JPEGs, and that's fine. I'm not taking points off Lillian. I just think you would benefit more from submitting the JPEGs instead of putting them into the Google Doc, okay? As far as these photos go, good. The one thing I would say about this is it would be better if the whole frame was in it, okay? It's okay to see your hands, you don't want to cut that out. The only reason I'm saying that is because it's awkward to have a frame that the border is not the same size all the way around. You get very strange right here because that's super thin compared to this down here and even over here and up top. Okay, so that would be my one critique for this photo of how it could have been improved. Again, we're not doing these again. This is it for the frame photos. But that would have been better if the whole frame was in it. Okay, this picture looks pretty good. For some reason, I want to say it's a little blurry, though. Like this background seems to be more in focus than here. And again, this is when uploading them as JPEGs benefits you, because I'm able to kind of zoom in on things, and I could see that and kind of, I'll be able to tell if it's blurry or not, but it definitely looks blurry compared to the background. Next photo. And see, the way you crop this, it's more successful, because I could tell the width is this thick. Again, you kind of tilted the frame on an angle, it looks like, because it looks like up here is thicker than down here, and in reality, I know it's not, but the way you took the picture makes it seem that way. Also, this is your main focus, I'm assuming, but you have all this negative space that's really, especially this background's really taken away from my attention being drawn to this. So the frame could have been positioned where this would be in the middle, right? Remember that rule of thirds. Imagine, you know, a grid going across. You don't really want your main subject to be on the bottom third because the 2/3 of the picture is taken away from that, right? It's not necessarily the best cropping for this one. But the idea was there. This one is by far your most successful. So you see how you have the image here? Even though it's not quite the same on these sides and here, it is much better than this one because this thickness looks drastically different than this. This thickness right here, oops, doesn't look all that different down here. It does look different, but not as different. And this is a nice, clear, clean, crisp shot, right? That's what I'm looking at right here. It does have background elements and different background elements, but it's not taken away, right? We have 1, 2, 3, kind of 4-ish background elements, but this is taking up such a nice big space that's where my attention's drawn to. So this third one's by far, in my opinion, your most successful because of the cropping and how your main subject is placed, Lillian. So this could have been better. Not gonna lie. However, you know, you're not gonna receive a bad grade whatsoever. Basically, if you complete these things, you get a A. So, good job, Lillian, and try to, you know, rewatch that beginning part of the video to see how you can upload JPEGs instead of putting them on a Google Doc. That way, I can bring them in Photoshop and get a little more in depth in the critique and kind of draw on it, and it's a little more descriptive, and I think that will help you in the long run. I have no problem doing it like this. You do not get points off doing it like this, but I do think that you will benefit more from uploading them as JPEGs. Okay, Lillian, if you have any questions, just let me know. Next up, I believe, is Robert. Okay, so Robert had originally take this photo with, let me get my brush, with this, oops, opacity up. With this little transmitter, I think you were calling it, Robert, tilted down like this. And it was extremely tight to the car. I was kind of cutting some pieces of the car off. The background was extremely busy, so the transmitter wasn't in focus, but the car was. But then he also had a fan over here and some other objects that were in focus that were really distracting and taking away from his main subject. So he cleaned it up, did a nice solid background, a nice solid foreground, used 2 of these to crop the image, and this is 10 times more successful, Robert. 10 times more successful. Cropping is a little tight. You could add a little bit of more space there. However, it's not bad at all. Good job propping it up on something, it looks like. Because obviously having that elevated is more successful too. Ooh, looks like this tire went astray. So that one is good, Robert. Let's go to your other one. This is another one that I thought was really successful and interesting. Just something different. When Robert first posted this, I wasn't seeing too many people use frames that weren't actual frames, so that's why I got so excited to see this one. He was doing something a little different. However, in this week's submission was much different for everybody. We got some really, really creative ideas coming. So this is another one that I thought was successful, Robert, and as you know through our conversations. And the third one, yeah, so this is the one that I thought was way too tight. Obviously, this is hitting the frame, so you would want to have the end of this transmitter thing right here, and it would have been 10 times more successful to crop it the way you cropped your other picture, like this. So I don't know why you didn't do it like that, because this is a lot better. So that's my one critique on this one. And even over here is really tight too, right? It's like very claustrophobic-y, being that it's so super, super tight. You're not really giving it enough room to breathe. And then up here as well, taking away, even those shadows take away from the solid background, okay? So I know you could have done it better because you did it better here, okay? So just keep that in mind. But overall, Robert, not a bad job whatsoever. Moving on. One more. Sorry. All right, so this is very cool, Liz. Very, very cool indeed. Cutting out the Polaroid and using that as your frame. I love it. I love the idea. I did not think of that myself, probably because I don't have Polaroids. Quick little story. I went on a cross-country road trip a couple years back, 2 years ago, and it was with my buddy and another friend of mine. And she had bought a Polaroid camera. We were all excited. We took pictures the first 2 days, and then she dropped it getting out of the car, and then it stopped working. So we didn't have the Polaroid for the rest of the trip, which was kind of unfortunate because Polaroids are so fun and exciting because you get to see the picture right away in its own format. But this reminded me of that. Very good. Cropping a little tight, right? You had enough space over here. We could have shifted it over a wee bit. But the idea behind this is really, I love it. I love the idea of cutting that Polaroid out. This is Austin's. Before I talk to Austin's, I'm going to finish Liz's. Another one. I think this one would have been better if you had some more tree in it. So say if you had this thing up here, and then the tree was kind of down here. I think that would have been a nice, interesting, balanced composition. Right now, with this little tiny piece of tree showing, it's not enhancing your image. It's more or less distracting than enhancing. However, I still think it's a good picture. I still think it was a good idea. But that, again, is my critique. And when I'm critiquing these things, there will always be things to critique. That's the one thing about art, okay? And a lot of it's opinionized. I like to think, being that the education I've had through the my design and fine art education, that I like to think I know what I'm talking about. You could think otherwise. However, this is my opinion. But that's how I think it would have been a little bit better compositionally. But again, ideas there, and I like it. Let's see your third one. Yep, simple and effective. I don't have anything to say really, besides this. If I'm nitpicking, you got a little tiny blue piece right here. It would have been better if everything was green. Don't kill me, Liz, but that's how this would have been improved. By no means is any of these pictures bad. I'm just giving everybody critiques. So good, and I also really like and appreciate that we don't see your finger in the frame. Okay, that's a really big thing too, and you're probably holding that with the tips of your finger. But very good job, Liz. An awesome idea. I was very excited to see that. So well done. Next up in the critique, we'll go with Austin because his pictures keep jumping up. All right, Austin. So you submitted 4, and I only brought up 3, and I brought up the 3 that I thought were most successful. That stop sign had a lot of space up top. It was cropped okay here, and cropped okay down here. But in order for that, for me to really like that, you would have had to really crop all the edges in and kind of just focus on that STOP in the middle, right? Stop this coronavirus. So that's why I didn't bring that one up. In regards to this one, great idea. The idea was there. I think it would have been a little bit better if this was showing and not cropped out, or cropped even more. Okay, it's a little too less of a crop, and this bag and piece of wood or whatever, that's very distracting, right? You want your main focus to be on these flowers, and with this in the background, it's kind of like, what the heck is that doing back there? You got this beautiful picture of, green, rich green and nice yellow, and then all of a sudden I see like a gym bag and wood in the background. So just be a little conscious of your backgrounds, as I've been saying all year. And this is a prime example of how backgrounds could negatively affect your image. But again, this is. I wonder if you don't mind, Austin, tell me what you made this out of in the comment section. I'm interested to learn that. And you didn't include any of your poker chips. I was looking forward to seeing some of that, but it's okay that you didn't. This one, by far, your most successful. Okay, perfect. There's really, I don't have anything too negative to say about this. Maybe that this is showing through and it's not as sturdy of a crop as you would like. However, you know, when I brought this up in Google Classroom, I didn't even realize the centerpiece is a different color, but that's really adding to the image as well, okay, with a beautiful flowered background. And it's a great time to be taking pictures of flowers, let me tell you. They're starting to bloom around my house, too. So that's a great shot, Austin. Great shot. And then this American flag, same thing with cropping. You know, you would want that to be showing in there. You would want that to be showing. And again, kind of loose packaging or whatever you used for this would have been better if it was nice and solid, because you want the focus to be on the flag and to stay on the flag. You know, I see that, and then all of a sudden my eyes are taken up here to the light. Okay, so could have been done a little bit better. But I do like all your ideas you had, and using something to make a frame too, Austin. I applaud you on that. So well done. And I did adjust your grade, Austin, in case you didn't get my message. So you're all set right now. All right, we'll go with Julia, because her images keep popping up. Julia, another great use of cropping. Looks like a kind of a spring wreath, right, type thing. I was very excited to see this. However, it's weird because you can use the same regular wood frame, and for some reason it doesn't feel repetitive. But because this is such a unique type of frame, it does feel a little repetitive as I go from picture to picture, right? All kind of the same thing. That's one of my critiques about the frame. I do love that you didn't use a frame, you used something else to create that frame. I think this could be like a picture on a Easter card, right? This is perfect. You got those Easter colors and flowers with the bunny rabbits. That's a great shot right there. Going back to here, another great shot. I wonder how it would have looked without the house or whatever this is in the background. If you got a little closer, I'm wondering, or like kind of look down on top of these two people, little statue people. So I'm wondering how that would have looked if you were to take it like that. Yep, another good shot. Again, you know, note my comment about the repetitiveness, but that's okay. I would have liked to see, you did have other frames that you could have used, but by no means is it bad. It's still very successful, Julia. This one, you got a lot going on in it, right? I'm looking at this tree, then I'm looking at the bush, and what is supposed to be the main subject, right? I know you probably wanted this tree to be the main subject, but it would have been better without these bushes and without this path, okay? Also, the tree doesn't look like it's in great focus, right? You see how clear this is right here, and then it gets a bit fuzzy up here, especially in the background. So be conscious of your focusing too, right? Tap your finger on your camera to try to focus it in on that main subject. So that's another thing I have to say about that, Julia. But again, good job with the frames. Unique frames tend to be a little more competitive. Like, for example, if I'm mocking up things, I'm taking pictures of one of my books and trying to use a colored background, but sometimes it's just better to use like a black and white background. Similar as sometimes it's better to just use a regular wooden frame or black frame. And then every now and then use this one. But for all of them, it might get a little repetitive. But that's my critique, Julia. Good job. Moving on. To Ella. All right. Awesome shot, Ella. Oop, I just got a smudge on my glasses. Awesome shot right here. Nothing bad to say about it. Again, I'm keeping my attention right here, so I'm not worrying about this. And when my attention is kept right there, it's a good job. I think it, again, like weird positioning, and I have this trouble sometimes in my own photos when I'm taking pictures of things. This is very, the distance between the frame and the American flag thing from the top is nice and even, but then you have it on the bottom, it's a little diagonal. So I think if you were to tilt the image a little more this way, that could have been adjusted. But, you know, those are the little things that really make or break a picture. Interesting shot. That's a very cool idea, too, to paint an American flag on a crate. Did you do that during quarantine, or was that something prior? I wonder. That's cool, though. I like that. Recycling, making something out of nothing, right? I like it. This one is a great shot. Great shot. I love it. It looks like a private road, very narrow, right? But simple does it, right? Simple does it. There's really, I don't really have anything too negative to say about this. Yeah, it's a good shot. It's a good shot. You know, perfect use of perspective, as they say. 1 point perspective, right? All the lines go there. Go to the circle. Good. I think this is the one that... Yes, this is another really cool idea. Really cool idea. So again, say if we had the luxury of Photoshop and we could crop this. No, we probably wouldn't want to crop it that tight. Maybe crop it from here and then here. That way it's nice and even on the sides too. But using the shadow to create that frame. I love it. And I'm wondering if that was kind of you kind of walking on the ramp, walking, and then notice that the frame created the shadow, or if you went into that already knowing you were going to do that. It seems something that was thought up on the spot, which is always the most exciting ideas, is when you're kind of just walking along. Or I know I like to do a lot of thinking when I run, and sometimes doing something and you're not really there to just think of an idea. You're kind of just playing around, and then all of a sudden an idea sparks. That's why I hate writing ideas out, because when I start doing something, I always come up with other ideas. So I don't see a point in writing too many ideas out. I think it's good writing ideas out, but not too many. All right, Alice, so good job. Everybody, nicely done. For those of you that handed it in, remember, I'm not going to critique you if you don't hand it in on time. So make sure you're doing that. If I haven't critiqued your work, that means I didn't get anything from you. So make sure you're doing the design journal. Again, this is a light assignment, so if you're behind on the photos, you should be taking photos as well. Okay, everybody? Look forward to reading your design journals and getting started on our next photo project. Enjoy the weather today, tomorrow, and I think it's supposed to be nice on Saturday as well. So make sure to go outside. All right, I will talk to you soon.